I'm fine.
Welcome to another episode of Talk Smart with
PUGH.
and McCART. That is Joe Pugh, and I am Andrew McCART. Joe, you're in a lovely, fancy hotel room in Sunderland. You've got the Josh Kelly fight, but we're going to talk about this
Yep.
right now. While you're in a hotel in Sunderland, we are doing our third day of Christmas. Well, 14 days of Christmas, but this is the third day, which is what, Joe?
It is trainer of the year. Behind every good fighter is a great trainer. So
Exactly, and
go for it.
I've got my pro coaching license. I've got 3 young fighters I'm turning pro in March, so I will be stepping into that realm, and hopefully one day we'll be talking about me. But until then, there's other good trainers out there. I've got who I think should be trainer of the year, but I'm going to give a couple of special mentions because I think they definitely deserve it, and it's going to be Shingo Inui's father.
Yeah.
Um, I know he's only had one fight this year, and that was against Fulton. But what he did to uh, Steve Fulton was just unbelievable. And then he's got Napales. I think it's on the 26th on Boxing Day. I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
And if he beats him, he becomes undisputed up at super bantamweight. Now that fight hasn't happened yet, but Shingo Inui, for what he's done with his son, is just unbelievable, and he deserves a special mention. And if he beats Napales on the Boxing Day, then he's definitely up there. Then you've got Ben Davison. I think you're a product. You're critiqued on your results, right? Ben Davison keeps on getting results, right? Whether it be with Shabazz, Lee Wood, Pat McCormack, all these guys, he's got good fighters coming to him. And the fact that Anthony Joshua is going to Ben Davison ahead of this huge fight out in Saudi Arabia, it's testament to how good a coach Ben Davison is, because obviously Anthony Joshua has seen something in Ben Davison to go over there and train alongside him ahead of this huge fight. So Ben Davison definitely deserves a shout out, and obviously Grant Smith, who's out in Phoenix, Arizona right now, Glendale, Arizona, with or Scottsdale, I can't remember what it is, with Sonny Edwards. I mean, what he's done with his son Dalton, Junaid, Sonny Edwards. Grant has done a phenomenal job as well for building fighters that are just coming out of the amateur ranks and then building them up to these very talented young fighters. Dalton Smith's going to be a talented fighter. Junaid Boston's got a tough fight. He's going to be a talented fighter. And obviously, Sonny Edwards has got the unified championship. But, Joe, I probably rambled on a little bit too long here. For them three, I want to give a special mention. I think they deserve a special mention. I
Yep.
don't know if you agree with me or you had them on your list. But for me, Coach of the year has to be Bomac. I mean, for a coach to go into 2 huge fights. I mean, Spence Crawford was a mega fight, and to pull off that result, I mean, what a game plan. Then he jumped in 6 weeks with Chris Eubank Jr. in a fight where I think not many people gave Chris Eubank Jr. the hope of beating Liam Smith again. But we all know, like, listen, I spoke to Liam off camera. I know what Liam had to do in that camp and blah. I'm not making excuses for Liam because Liam wouldn't make excuses. But what Chris Eubank, you can't take nothing away from Chris Eubank. What he did in that fight, and obviously the trainer issue and all this sort of stuff, and Bomac coming in and changing up the game plan and getting that result in another huge event. This is a mega fight. These 2 mega fights that Bomac have been in, and he's got 2 wins. So for me, my trainer of the year is Big Bomac, Brian McIntyre.
Completely agree. I'll be honest, I did struggle with this one. But I think your standout kind of trainer has to be Bomac. When you look at what he's done with Terence Crawford and what was seen to be such a 50-50 fight, the closest fight, the best fight in boxing, and Terence Crawford dominated it. And I'm sure Terence and Bomac kind of figured out and sculpted that game plan. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And likewise, in such a small amount of space, in a fast turnaround with Chris Eubank Jr., you talk about performance improvements. It was only what, I think 8.5 months and only 6 weeks with the fighter. And it was superb what he done with Chris Eubank Jr. I think this is being filmed on Saturday, the 16th morning, but I think if Sonny does it, Grant's definitely up there with what he's done this year with Sonny, which will be twice, Dalton Smith, Florian Marcus. It's such a great gym. But I do think it has to be Bomac for this year.
Just because it's 2 mega fights, Joe. Do you know what I mean? These events have been. If you're talking about fights, obviously the Sonny Edwards and Bam is a great fight. It's a big fight. But the Spence Crawford fight was mega. Do you know what I mean? That's something that the boxing world, you had pound for pound against pound for pound, top 10 against each other. Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. after the first fight, the way that Chris lost the first fight to Liam, and then going on to do that to Liam in the second fight, was and Bomac was a big part of that. Obviously, he changed it up. You've seen him training with Bomac and doing things, and even Chris Eubank's own admission was that he's never got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go for a run. It was Bomac that made him get up at 6 and go for a run. Chris Eubank Jr. used to do all his training in the afternoon. He used to play poker at night, get up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then train from 3 or 6 o'clock at night. He never got up in the morning, and it was Bomac that changed that. Now, that might have been a little switch, the discipline and the hard work you need to get a switch in your head to be like, right now, I need this win, so I need to get up at 6. I need to find that discipline within me to get up at 6 and go for a run, whether it be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles, right? That's just a little spark that you need to go in there with a little bit more determination and discipline to get the win. And I think Bomac, and I want to give another quick shout out as well to Joe McNally and Declan O'Rourke Deco. Them two have got some great fighters in the stable, and it won't be long before we're talking about them two as a duo, because they've got Kevin Ajago, Gary Cully, Josh Taylor, Shannon Courtney, Frankie Stringer, JJ Metcalf. I probably missed a couple out there, but at the top of my head, we Jack Turner. So they've got some great fighters in that stable, and I think if we do this again next year, we'll be talking about those two as a coaching duo very shortly, because they are very exciting young coaches. I mean, they must be in their 30s or just early. I don't know how old they are, but I know maybe they might be late 30s or something like that. But they are two very talented young coaches. But I think for me and you, I think we're in agreement here, Joe, are we?
Yeah, I think it's a relatively easy one. Just a shout out to Joe Mack. I think he's certainly got the fighters now. I think he's certainly got the talent. I just know some of the results haven't gone his way, but hopefully next year, kind of get a couple of those losses into big wins, and we'll be talking about Joe Mack.
Speaking about coaches, let me see the badge on that hoodie.
This is Will Jones. This is
Will Jones. Will
O'Hara.
Wait, Will. I saw this is a message to Will Jones. Well, I saw you put that post on Instagram. You've got some great looking tracksuits with the Will Jones. I put a comment on you and I said, medium, please. And you said, no problem, brother. So I'll give you my address very shortly, and I'll have a medium tracksuit whenever you got time. Thank you. I'll pay for it. Don't worry. I will pay for it, Will. But
mate, they're good. I live in this tracksuit. I always do this show in this hoodie, mate. Whenever I'm in a room, in the house, stick the Will Jones tracksuit on. And hopefully we'll rep him for Trainer of the Year one day as well.
Definitely. He's got a young stable. So the thing with Will, apart from O'Hara, maybe O'Hara Davis, you take him out, but he's got a stable of fighters where he's taking them straight out the amateurs. I like coaches that take them out of the amateurs.
Yeah.
And builds them in the pro. Do you know what I mean? If you can take somebody out of the amateurs and then get them to a world title and win a world title, that is a coach. That is a special talented coach. And I think that Will with Tom Welland and who else has he got? He's got some great young fighters down there. And who else has got down there?
Brooke Eaton, great young talented girl.
Yes.
He's got Thomas Galbraith. He's got so many great fighters down there. And hopefully, we have him as one for the future, definitely.
Well, Joe, Trainer of the Year for 2023 is Brian McIntyre, Bomac himself. And listen, thankfully, his court case is up and he's spent his little time in Her Majesty's pleasure. Or His Majesty's pleasure, I think you say now. Don't you use English folk? But yes. His Majesty's pleasure. And let's see what 2024 brings for Terence Crawford, Chris Eubank Jr., all his fighters. Keyshawn Davis as well, he's got, which is a good young fighter. So yeah, Bomac, 2023, Trainer of the Year. If you agree or disagree, you know what to do. Leave a comment. Let's interact this. And what was that, Joe?
I just said, let us know, mate. Put it in the comments. Day 3, Trainer of the Year. We've gone Bomac. I'm sure you'll agree, disagree. Until tomorrow, see you tomorrow, mate.
See you tomorrow, mate.
I'm fine.